about it, so that even when they are exposed to conflict internally, they just know how to respond, because more often than not, the staff are reacting and not
Rather than
responding.
Sorry, I know that some people may be listening and wondering, what is the IRMP?
Model.
Yes, what is that model?
Okay, it's a simple problem-solving model. I for identification,
Okay.
R for resolution, M for management, P for prevention.
Can you just take it again?
I for identification.
Identification,
If you
yes.
identify a problem at the root, it will show in the fruit.
Okay.
R for resolution.
Resolution.
M for management, I guess.
Yes. M for management. Yeah, because there's certain differences that can be resolved. So you find organizations now straining themselves, looking for ways to resolve them and all of that, and they're spending money, they're spending resources. You can't resolve them if you understand them. The IRMP model also lets them know that these sort of conflicts cannot be resolved.
Can
what you
only be
should-
managed.
You can manage them and achieve the same result. So don't try and resolve them. Just start to manage them, because the end goal is the same.
Yes.
And then prevention. The prevention there is if there's already a conflict, yes, what you should be doing is how do you prevent it from worsening. So it's either you're preventing the occurrence or you're preventing the reoccurrence. Some are recurring. These two people never get along. We're always falling out with this customer. When we get to this point of our transaction and negotiation, things fall apart. Why is it always at this stage of the business that we have challenges and difficulties, people challenges? I tell you that 75% research has shown, recent research, 75% of difficulties experienced in companies, experienced in businesses, no matter the size, are people problems. People problems. They would even tell you, those in the aviation industry will tell you that 75% again of air mishaps are not technical. They are
scary.
related to pilot error.
That's scary.
Even probably even a lot more. I say this, with every sense of responsibility. There's a man called Andrei Lubitsch.
Okay.
Andrei Lubitsch was the pilot for German Wings who crashed his plane off the south of France a few years ago.
Okay.
He had told his girlfriend, I'm going to do something, the whole world will talk about it. She didn't even
Can you
know what it was about, right? He was a first officer. He had gone to the hospital and they told him that his eyesight was failing. That's your biggest tool as a pilot.
Yes.
So it had affected him emotionally. Now nobody could pick that up. That day, the pilot, the captain, went to ease himself. Lubitsch just plugged the door, turned the plane on his head and crashed it.
Wow.
It's on CNN. It was on CNN. Andrei Lubitsch. It's there once you put it in Google.
So that's where I think managing the emotions of your staff comes to play, because if somebody's having a bad day,
right?
they can decide to scatter your whole whatever. But how would they have fixed that? So maybe the captain should have been
Good
should have picked
question.
it, yes.
Good question. Some people just say, professional skills minus relational skills is a 21st century workplace time bomb.
Please repeat. Thank you.
Professional skills
Yes.
minus relational skills is the 21st century workplace time bomb. It's not whether it will go off. It's
It will go
when.
off.
No, it's about when it will go off. So, organizations always say, okay, this is where we lose money. They don't realize how much they lose.
When relationships are nowhere oiled.
They
Yes.
don't. Nobody does that audit. There's IT audit, security audit,
There's financial audit.
audit. They speak of all those things. So, is there a relationship management audit
There
of
is
the
none.
organization to say this is what is costing us to recruit into this role because of how much investment we've put in you and we have to put in another new person. This is how much it's costing us because both of you don't
Are
seem
not
to
getting
bring in
along.
your A game
Yeah.
when you come in the team. This is what is costing us when you're trying to convert a customer and things go wrong and we either move on to another willing customer
And start afresh.
and start afresh. This is what it is costing the organization when an existing customer, things go out of line and we try to resolve it through the courts. So that
People never want to have to go to the courts.
that they may just immediately calculate, okay, how much the lawyers cost us, but there are other things that no one takes into consideration. We try to support them in having a more deliberate approach towards their people capital. Not just financial capital, their people capital.
So let me just call the numbers again, because there are some nuggets that have been shared here that I'm sure that some people may want to ask questions about. The number to call, 0700 1021 1021. If you have questions for Mr. Charles Okebuno, you can call those numbers and ask your questions.
So, I was answering the question about what the organization could have done in Andre Lobich's case.
Yes.
So, professionally, he was competent to fly. But relationally, no one could pick.
That he was emotionally...
Right.
Yeah.
Because you could even be sad and say, you know what, let's just get this thing done. I don't know what's happening with you, but as long as we get this done, you may be able to find and sort it out yourself. When people ask, for example, how are you? You can tell whether they are making a statement.
Or they are really fine.
There's those days growing up, when someone comes to your house and you're eating, it's just polite for you to say, join me. Yeah, but that is not that
Meaning that you
intention
really
that you
join
should
me.
now ask for spoon and all
come and
that. So
join.
when they say, how are you just being polite or are you really concerned? I went to speak in a school at the height of bullying. There was a season when people were really concerned about bullying in school, what's happening.
We had a lot of cases.
People are being injured both physically, emotionally, and even life is now getting involved and all of that. And I said to the school management when I was training them, I said, people don't bully their friends. A bully is an emotional problem, a superiority complex. And the victim of a bully is having an inferiority complex. And so he impresses this on him that if you don't do this, I will make life difficult for you. And so they are forced to. If people therefore understand principles...
This thing you're saying is making me think, even in the workplace, we have bullies.
Right.
Some managers are bullies.
Right.
Because I know that, she mentioned
And
earlier that there's so much toxicity
Yeah,
going
there's
on
so
in
much.
a lot of
There was
offices.
a time it trended about how can you tell us about your manager's experience, and people were talking online and all of that. They're like, when I worked,
Yes.
So yeah.
You don't even need to be perfect. You only need to be considerate. As a man, you don't need to be perfect. I mean, you
But
have
some
off
people like,
days.
I'm not here to be considered. I'm here to do my job. Just get the job done. They don't
Right.
care if they are stepping on people's necks, hurting people along the way.
Yes.
It's a problem. I think it's even a cultural thing, because even you think about, there was a time too it was trending about boarding schools.
Right.
The things that seniors meted on juniors in boarding schools. You
Right.
hear and you are shocked. But these are the same people that grow into the workplace,
Right.
and they continue with
That
that
cycle.
same
Cycle.
attitude.
Yeah.
It's a circle, which is the reason why it's important to break the circle. Because some people who were managers today were managed yesterday. And they were complaining.
Yeah.
And so even when they try to correct them, they say, I'm even nice. Do you know what I went through in my time?
So you're even enjoying. Why are you complaining?
Because I walked you out of my office. I could have said worse things, So people say things they shouldn't ever say to a human being.
A lot.
People say talk is cheap. For me, talk isn't cheap. What can kill is not cheap. It's not cheap. A person can actually take your words, and those words will play in their head for the next 25 years.
I'm telling you. I am so cliche about it. Someone like me that is very, very on words. I might forget what you did to me, but whatever you said to me, I will never forget.
So you can imagine that. How do you know from meeting people who would not take a joke, which is unguided? Are you following? So words are like pills. I mean, medication. Every professional should regard communication like medication. The right words heal, the wrong words kill. So if you are in that workplace and you have the basic relationship management skills, a fundamental part of your culture. Everybody has been trained in it. So when a person rolls out of line, it becomes an exception rather than the rule. Some organizations won't even let some managers who are very rude, who are bullies and high-handed leave, because some of them are high performers.
Yeah, they're bringing in the money.
They are performers. So they could say demeaning things to others. Some organizations even have a book. They have policy against bullying and all that. Those are policies.
It's not my book.
Those are policies. So we simplify that complexity. How many people will go through organizational policy?
And it will not change their lives.
So we extrapolate that simple thing and make it relatable to people with a creed.
Okay, my question is this, from the angle you have been coming over, it looks like the burden is on the principals, which are the managers or the owners of these organizations or companies. Is there other ways the underdog or the staff or the common people can champion this conflict resolution at the workspace?
Yes. Every workplace is made up of workspaces. If your workspace is fertile, yours is fertile, then soon the workplace will move from being hostile to being fertile. So
Can you expatiate on fertile?
Fertile in the sense that when a person comes to you, how do you treat them? Your manager could be rude. And are you reacting to his rudeness or are you responding to his rudeness? Reacting to his rudeness will break down in tears. Reacting to his rudeness is speaking back at him. Reacting to his rudeness is shutting down completely, no matter what he says. Reacting to his rudeness is tolerating his bad behavior.
Which is wrong, which is not good as well.
Oh, yes. We never speak about tolerance because tolerance is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Whatever you tolerate will deteriorate.
Persist. What
does it mean to tolerate? To tolerate, the dictionary definition, to endure a bad thing. So again, it is what you will tolerate on a day that you are in a good shape will be different from what you're going to tolerate on a day that everything is already on a meltdown.
I'm telling you.
So tolerance is something that we do not advocate. If you're ever going to adopt tolerance, it should just be
short term.
Short term. It shouldn't be a style. So the underdogs on their own are the victims. So first they need to understand how to manage conflict when it hits them. So they respond to it rather than react to it by positive communication when they are faced with difficulties.
Okay. So for those who are just tuning in and those who are just joining us, do not forget that you are on 102.1 FM High Impact Radio. And of course, this is the TLIG show. And it's business as usual. We've been talking about how to deal with conflict resolution within the compacts of a business or an organization. And it has been juicy all the way.
Absolutely. So we've talked mostly about the conflict resolution within the organization among staff. So how do we talk about customers, because sometimes you can have clients from hell. Oh my goodness. And you don't know how to resolve, those kinds of things. So what systems can you put in place to equip your staff for handling such customers? There are some people that there's nothing you can do that will be right. They are just ready to tear you down. And nowadays that we have social media, it can escalate and go from 0 to 100, and they go on social media, yes,
in 24 hours or less.
Yes, and they will drag that company and drag that. So managing that too, that's another area that companies will be excited to say, how do we handle this?
Okay, don't be the fuel. The fire is here. If you add fuel to it, it increases. Don't be the fuel. So you find people in customer service, what should we do? You have exhausted their standard form answers.
Yes.
No more, no less, and without empathy.
Oh, really?
Oh, without empathy. So sometimes the problem is not the problem. The problem is how you perceive the problem.
Absolutely. Yes, I get you.
You walk into a bank you're upset that your ATM is not working.
Somebody's just straight face, poker face, answering you like
Yes.
robots.
You're upset that the ATM they gave you, they said they've linked it, whatever, it's not working. You went to the restaurant, you can't pay. And you're upset, you're fuming. Maybe you're upset, but then you're not fuming yet. And then you sit in front of a customer service representative and say, you people gave me this card and it's not working. And the person says, did you change your password? Yes, I've changed the password. I've done everything that you asked me to do. And the person says, okay, just give me some time. And he starts to talk to somebody else and gets carried away by that conversation and is on the system. You're working on the system. Maybe you're even working on that card. But let this man know that I'm still with you. I can see I'm with you. I'm coming back in a moment now. But you even step out of your chair, enter into, and then you come out, and then things start to degenerate. Yes. I said, is it not because of your matter I went to tell the manager? Is it not your matter that I went to tell the manager about? Is it not your matter I'm trying to resolve? Right. But you see, he's frustrated. Don't add the fuel to it. Just douse the fire. You douse the fire by your words. You douse the fire by your facial expression.
I feel like this is a serious training that all organizations need to have, because Lagos generally is stressful and everybody is, most people are frustrated and angry. Well, we'll come back to that. After this break, we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dwell on that.
Impact 102.1 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen of the world, want to know what the future sounds like?
Wow.
High Impact 102.1 FM. We are the future.
Never forget. Always remember, the future is now. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Only big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on
In the office?
In traffic. Only one king exists.
Yeah.
The king of radio.
I'm a king.
High Impact 102.1 FM.
I'm a king.
But this has me thinking, is empathy something that can be taught? You know, there's some people that no matter how, there's some people that just have they are constant blank face. And that's why sometimes I wonder that there's some people that are in misplaced jobs. Because there's some people that no matter what you do, they just do not know how to show, empathy. And then they're in customer service. So that's a huge disaster.
Okay, you know how we got here? Conflict between the business and their customers, right? If people knew how much the business was losing, how much they are losing, then they will come to realize the value of empathy. There's nothing on earth that cannot be taught. It is just people who refuse to learn. There's nothing that can be taught. Everything can be taught. If it doesn't come naturally to you, you learn from discipline till it becomes a delight.
Discipline to delight.
Right.
Okay.
It doesn't come naturally to you. You don't smile. Maybe you're naturally just, it's not as if you're upset. But you just have that. Yeah. But then you realize that you're losing opportunities. You're losing relationships. You're losing things. I think you begin to smile deliberately. Maybe you have a loud voice. And so when you're talking, people think
it looks like you're shouting.
Yeah. You can come up front to say, if it looks like I'm shouting, I'm not shouting. That's how my voice is.
So you've already toned it down already.
Right. So, tell me if I start raising my voice, and then I can become conscious of it. That's why I say you don't need to be perfect. You only need to be considerate.
But when you talk about this now, empathy, what comes to my mind now is the issue of mental health.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk about, how there are a lot of people who are going through a lot of mental health challenges that are not diagnosed and are probably, it doesn't show on their face, but they now exhibit it maybe when they're triggered.
Right.
Or something. Because there's sometimes you say something to some people and the reaction, you're wondering, what did I say?
Yes. Yes.
Like, what did I say?
Yes.
Right? But they are probably triggered from something. So how do businesses train their staff to handle such situation. So imagine a customer who has come from, somewhere where they have something that and then somebody says something that triggers them, and then
even a simple joke.
Yes, sometimes you can joke, and then
it could be a simple joke. Can you imagine telling somebody good afternoon? Someone's good about the afternoon.
Exactly.
I mean, why people just did I ask you to be? I mean, I don't know why.
I don't need you to greet me. Why did you greet me?
I just greeted you.
said,
No.
Why
Why not focus on your job?
Exactly.
How does this greeting now add to my account? I mean, just focus on your job. And the person is just going on and on and on.
And you're there looking like shocked.
You shouldn't start to justify the greeting, because then you say, what have I even done wrong? What's wrong with good afternoon? You're worsening the already deteriorating situation that you have no hand in.
So what best would a person do? Shut up and just...
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry to the person.
Okay, so we've dwelled on conflicts between staff.
Yes, don't forget again, beyond even saying you're sorry, sometimes you only need to be silent and let the water simmer. When water is boiling, you pull out the plug.
Yeah.
It will keep boiling. You think it will continue, just happen just a little bit. Then it just levels out. So when it's boiling, just be silent. You are talking to? Silent. Just give it in a minute or two. It doesn't matter. It will just
calm down.
Balance out.
So that means those people in customer service really needs emotional intelligence, because you need that intelligence to know when to be silent, when to say sorry,
correct.
when to say
correct,
this, when to be blunt, when to be like,
and who to be blunt to.
Yeah,
there are people that they just can't even take the truth. If you ever been
nice and
they
all
can't
of
make
that.
it true. There are some things you may only have to send through emails. And all of that. So that is why people think it's for customer service.
It's for everybody.
Okay, but there is also the internal customer, which is you and I that are working.
Yeah.
So don't be just customer centric, be staff centric too. That means you're building a holistic
environment,
conflict-proof organization. Conflict-proof. The coming is customer-centric. Put the nicest girl in this thing. Oh, she's well-behaved. She's nice to people. Put her there, So, but she's facing the customers with all the niceness, and from behind her, they're throwing all the arrows.
She will definitely break.
You understand? She's throwing all the arrows. So what if she is naturally nice, amiable, welcoming, and all of that? You put her there, but let her be managed by somebody who can manage her in such a way that she continues to give her best. So what I say is that a relationally skilled person is that one who brings the best out of the worst person, not the worst out of the best person.
Bring the best.
Okay.
So I was just going to say that we've talked about staff conflicts, resolving that, or becoming proofing your organization against that.
Conflict proof.
Conflict proof. We've talked about staff or business to customer.
Right.
Now business to business. What scenarios do we have? What kinds of conflicts can come up there, and how do we, conflict proof our organizations in those kinds of situations?
Right. I think from a holistic point of view, a web designer comes to tell you, I'll design your website for 100,000, and you just jump at it. Wow, or maybe 50,000. Oh yeah. Sign. Maybe there's even nothing to sign. We'll come to that. And then you start and then he designs the website. Then it tells you, you now tell him, I have this correction to make. He makes the correction. He said, I have this. And I've designed the website. You say, what do you mean? So is it now that I'm giving you money? Because I'm giving you money, now you don't want to support me, And then he, on the other hand, he thought that after he had designed the website with everything, that's the end. But you're wanting additional support without corresponding
payments.
That's a hotbed for conflict, because nobody talked about how many times you would have to review the design. You didn't sign off on anything. You didn't talk about it. But because you saw the offer, you jumped at it. Now you're already mid-sea. They call them mid-sea challenges. So for B2B businesses, ensure that you create a relationship of equal value between both parties.
Equal value.
Equal value. If it's tough, let me know. If it's tough from my end, let me know. Because it is when people are trying to outsmart each other and maximize profit that
that's almost the typical Nigerian. Everybody's always trying to outsmart, like, I will show him, I got a deal, I did this, I did that.
So that is one of the reasons that create conflicts between two businesses. One wants to maximize profit, and the other one feels they have taken advantage. That means that we are not transparent.
So from what I hear, one of the things to do when we're talking about this creating equal value for both parties is also to flesh out all of these things beforehand, so you don't find yourself mid-sea now saying, these people are taking advantage of me.
Flesh it out. Talk about it. Discuss. Communicate.
Do you need a professional to navigate? Because sometimes there's some things you don't think about. It may not just even occur to you. You're like, wow, 200,000. I mean, what I was doing, but I'm doing it, bam. You did not know that you're going to have to to be going back and forth like 100 times.
Right.
It just doesn't occur to you. So that's why I always, sometimes some people just don't feel that, oh, I don't need a lawyer. What do I need a lawyer for? Maybe I'm just that. So those kinds of things, what do you recommend?
So as a lawyer, the first thing that a person says, I don't need a lawyer. Once they say, I don't need a lawyer, I know they need a lawyer.
So for you to be saying that,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, so it's a mask of survival to say, I don't need a lawyer, I can do it myself. Mm-hmm. You need a lawyer to advise you. You need a lawyer to protect you, your interests. You need a lawyer to see through the facade, the risks. Okay? But I tell you also, as a mediator as well, while you need a lawyer, there are many things a lawyer can do for you. So IRMP is about how do we effectively relate so that we don't need a third party.
Wow.
So that we can look at each other on the face and say, yeah, we made a mistake in this thing. I didn't see it. I said it's true. Okay, so what do we do?
The world would be a better place if everybody could just be like that, to get to that point to say, we made a mistake. Okay, no, how do we resolve it?
Yeah, that we did. I didn't see this. It's okay, it's true. What do we do? So even as a lawyer, I can tell you, you need a lawyer. But I can also tell you that there are things the lawyer will not do for you, because the lawyer can say, he's not willing to cooperate, then let's go to court. Yeah. Okay? So, but that's not what you want. At the end of the day, you're in court, but what you want is a resolution.
Yeah, you want peace.
You want resolution. Okay? So if you're in business, what two business people need is maximizing profit. You are not maximizing profit when you are ruining relationships and spending money in court. That's easy to identify. So while you need a lawyer so that you don't make avoidable mistakes, work on your capacity to build effective relationships. Work on your capacity to resolve conflicts independent of another party, which means sincerity, transparency, and your ability to effectively communicate.
Okay. So we've said so much, and I will just try to go through, because I feel like I'm in school with all of these things, because these are some of the things that we hardly ever sit down to think about. You just feel it doesn't matter. Like I said, people say throw these words around that, we're here to work, so far we get results. It doesn't matter the emotional well-being of your staff. It doesn't matter, you don't need to train them. Because training is another thing. People overlook training. And that's one of the things you do. You give training
that's
on
correct.
the
IRMP model.
How, if somebody is thinking, okay, I want to train how affordable is it for an SME? First of all, an SME, would they need it? Second, how affordable is it? Because, they'll be thinking, how much am I making that I'm now doing training? And I will train them and they go, why am I wasting my money?
To underscore how important this was, when we set out, we made up our minds to train 7,100 professionals in any business at no cost to the organizations.
Wow.
That was how we started out. Because we've believed that the
7,000.
taste of pudding is in the eating. You know, and if you can't sell for free, you can't sell for a fee. So we got them, everybody, we knocked on their doors. Open up, we'll come talk to you for 90 minutes at least, as much as 90 minutes, you know.
Wow.
Show
For
them how
free.
this will work, yes. So now how these things work, you know, and all of that. Give them the model, show them how to apply it, and move on. So SMEs can afford them. So if we could do that, then of course our primary interest is impact. The goal is impact. The goal is not money. So we charge reasonably or with that in mind. All right. So the goal is impact. Let us know there are 5 indices we want you to measure the impact of the IRMP model. Number 1, your profitability. Number 2, your staff attrition. People.
Yeah.
How many people left?
Yes.
Then we also want to know job satisfaction.
How do you measure that?
How happy are people at work?
Okay, the happiness. Okay.
You know, how happy are they? Then we talk about your brand erosion. What's the strength of your brand? Okay, in the marketplace, are people more
Saying good
amenable to?
Are they interacting with it?
Yes, you know, are they willing to come to your business? Are there repeat customers? Are there more repeat customers than new customers?
Are there good reviews on social media?
That is correct. And then perception. So these are the things we give a business to measure the intervention of the IRMP model, to measure the intervention on the conflict resolution skills in the organization. Because it will tell in your profitability. You could have made more money than you are making now. It would tell in the job satisfaction of the staff. Are they happy? It will tell in their attrition levels. Some people don't leave certain places, and it's not because they couldn't have been better paid elsewhere.
They're happy there.
But they're happy here, so they just want, I can't. While some can't wait to leave. The day they get a better opportunity, the next day they stop coming.
They don't even tell you.
Some may not even tell you, depending on how the organization is structured. So some may say, I need to leave now. Take that my salary in lieu. I'm leaving.
I've heard of situations where some people just relocate and wire their resignation letter from there, like, bye.
Tell me.
Hope to never see you again.
Exactly. Tell me that it's not a symptom of something being wrong.
Absolutely.
Of course it is.
I mean, why would you, if I wish you well, why would you want to leave without telling me that this is the plan, and
somebody can shadow you while you're preparing to leave.
Yeah, that this is the plan,
yes.
plan. What do you think I should do? But you see, in workplaces, there's mutual distrust between the employers and the employee because of what we're talking about. So the employees are afraid. If I tell him I'm going now, the last 1 month will be hell for me. Okay, and then the employer is saying, if I know, that means there's no loyalty. So there's mutual distrust. The moment you take out that element of distrust, people can leave your organization and still be useful. They become ambassadors.
Yes.
They might even become consultants for you for free.
Yes, they become alumni of the business.
They might even say something good and come and tell you, why don't you implement this, and this?
Yes, you should be able to tell your staff, you see, I'm not an enemy of progress. You want to move forward, I will pray for you. You know what I mean?
When you said I'll pray for you, it reminds me of some churches. There are some churches where the pastors just leave with anger. When they say they're going to start their own church, it causes war.
Even write them a letter of someone's leaving my organization. I wrote him a letter of corporate commendation.
Wow.
I gave him everything that we had worked on as memories.
Yeah, it's very important.
Okay, as we wrap up, what would you say is the most important thing that people need to note when it comes to conflict resolution? So how do you conflict proof your organization? What's the top thing that you must work on?
Culture.
Culture. Culture.
That's just the word.
Culture is a way of life.
Because that's what I ask. Everywhere I go, even the recent place I went to ask, I said, please, what's the culture of this place? Because that's what I'm interested in.
But you know, sometimes there's like unspoken culture.
The question you should ask me is, what is culture?
What is culture?
It's the color beneath the skin. You could be white with a dark heart. That's the culture. You could be dark
With a white heart.
That's the culture. So you go to the culture. How do we talk to each other? Communication culture.
Even in emails, you know, some emails can be very aggressive.
Capital letters
Capital
with exclamation
letters,
marks
or
in red.
passive aggression in the tone and the way that the text is being sent and stuff like that.
How do we talk to each other? How do we see each other? This is the culture. I'm giving you the simplest elements. How do we see each other? Because if I see you, you know what we're talking about,
if I see you as my competitor.
Correct. I tell them there's nothing positive about how do they put it in the workplace?
Is it competition or?
Yeah, competition. There's another corollary they add to competition.
Wow.
You know, there's nothing positive about competition. What workplaces should focus on is collaboration.
Collaboration.
Not even cooperation.
So on that note, let's just tie it down to say
Culture.
collaboration over competition. Focus on the workplace culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ensure that people talk to each other
And see each other
and see each other differently. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles, for coming through to the TLIG Business Show on High Impact 102.1 FM. I feel like we have to have a follow-up because there's so many branches that we didn't delve into.
Because of time.
I know, because of time. I mean, when you're having fun, you don't even know that time is going. So join us again next week, same time, on High Impact 102.1 FM. We're streaming live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, so you can go and watch it there and make sure you're there next week at the same time with I'm signing out, Mofulu Shade.
And I am Favor Goodness. See you when we see you.
Bye.
Bye.
We're not just any frequency. We're your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM. This is your everyday companion.
Everyday companion.
High Impact 102.1 FM.
This station is powered by the future.
Never forget. Always remember, the future is now. High Impact 102.1 FM.